Hey folks, this is Max. Welcome to another no-code video. Now, some of you might have heard that I've joined Okta a few weeks ago to help with advocacy and community for Okta Workflows. And so in this video, I'm going to show you how to build the very first workflow. And the example will be Hello World using workflows. Now, I'm going to have a lot more videos coming up and also blog posts, but quickly, Okta Workflows is an automation platform with a big focus on identity. So for example, you can, using no code and visual approach, you can build flows to create users, to onboard users, for example, provision, deprovision, and a lot more. And it's all done visually without any code. And again, I'm going to have a lot more videos very soon. Now, in this video, this is the Hello World video again, and we're going to build this flow. So every step here represents, well, this is called a card. So every card represents a step in the flow. And so this is the first one, this is the second, third, and so on. And again, you build it visually. Another way I like to look at it, and again, this is if you have more coming from a coder or developer background, is that this is a kind of a serverless flow where each step or each card represents kind of a small serverless function. And then you connect each function to the next one, and you pass data between those functions. So, I mean, that's another way to look at it. But in workflows, so this is a card. And so this is another card, and that's how you build the flow. And then, of course, it's executed from left to right. All right, so let's actually build this. So let me go back here, and let's click New Flow, and let's give this a name. Now I'm going to click this option because this will allow me to test the flow. Actually, it will allow me to see how the data flows from card to card when testing. So let's click Save here. All right. Now, the first thing is with almost any automation is when to actually call this automation or when to invoke it. And so in our case, we want this to be a schedule. So, run it every, here every 15 minutes. I think because this is just a sample flow, we're going to set it to 5 minutes. And again, you can see you can customize this. So there are a lot of different options. Let's click Save. All right. Now, the actual flow that we're going to build, as I said, it's going to be Hello World. So to keep it simple, we're going to create the message with time and then send it to a Slack channel, right? And this will be done every 5 minutes. So the first step would be to get a card which gives us the current time. And then we would actually click here, Add Function. Now the difference here, Add App Action, this is usually a connection to another service. For example, Google Sheets or Gmail or Airtable, or there are a lot of other connectors. Let's see actually here. You can see there are a lot of other connectors that you can use. Now, a function is usually where you take data and you manipulate the data. Or you can do, for example, if-then. So in our case, we want to find date and time, and then we want to get now. All right, so we get a now card. So this card, this little function, or serverless function, returns the current time. Now, what's also very cool is that you can test each card. So most cards have a little run icon here, button, and if we test this, click Test, and then we get the current time. Now, this particular card doesn't have any inputs, but many cards do. All right, so let's close this. Now, once we get the time, let's create a small text message. And for that, I'm going to click on Function again, and I'm going to use Compose. And this allows me to just write some text. So let's say, hello from Workflows. So this let's say this message was printed, we'll say printed on. Now we want to insert the time. So this is really, really powerful. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take any one of the outputs from any card, not just the previous one, and drag and drop it like this. And so this creates a mapping. So when this card runs, it will take data from the previous card, right? So this is really, really powerful. All right. Now we can also test this. We can just enter any sample time. For example, this is, you can say Wednesday. This is fine. And then click test. And then we can see this message was printed on Wednesday. Of course, once it runs, we'll see the actual time. Now, the last step or card is to send a message to a Slack channel. Now, here I'm actually going to use an app action again, because this is where connecting to another service. And then right here, Slack. And you can see there are a lot of different sort of actions we can take. The one we want is send message to a channel. Now, I already have a connection, but of course you need to connect to a Slack. So I already have a connection to a Slack. You can create a new one and you can have multiple connections. So those will be different Slack accounts. But this is the same thing as you're basically giving access to workflows to access Slack. So I'm sure you've seen those when you log in with Google or Facebook or any similar. So it's a similar process here. But again, I already have an existing one. Let's click save. Now, I do need to specify to which channel to send. So I have this channel specifically for testing. And then I'm going to send plain text. All right. And save. Now, it requires a text, right? What's the actual message that I'm going to sending? So I'm going to go back to the previous card, which is compose. And this is the output. I'm going to take the output and drag and drop it like this again. Oh, let me do this again. Let me try this. And here we go. All right. So now we can see how the data maps from card to card. And that's it. Now let's save. All right. And now we can test this. And notice how we see data populated in each card. So if you remember when we named the flow, there was a checkbox. So that checkbox allows to do that. So we can see how data basically maps from card to card. And right here, this is the success. So if I have multiple runs, we will be able to see, we could be able to click on each run and see the data that was sort of passed from each card. Now, this is the message that was sent to Slack. So now let's see. This is my Slack, and right here, hello from Workflows, this message was printed on. All right. Now we can format this date, but we're not going to do it. So we can see it was just sent again. If I go back, and the reason is because it automatically enabled the flow, and you can see it was printed just about 25 seconds ago, right? And then it shows the counter when it's going to run next again. Okay, so we kind of lucked out because it ran again, and we can see that there is the first one. This is the test one, and if I go here, this is the one that was scheduled, right? So this is really powerful because you can view each successful run. I mean, if you have any errors, you would see those runs here, and an error message indicating what happened. All right, but that's it. I'm actually going to stop this one, and I'm going to go back to the flow. But that's all I wanted to show you. Again, it's a rather simple flow, but I think it's a perfect example for Hello World, and it just sort of shows you the potential of this platform. So you can kind of visually, build and develop a lot of really powerful functionality, again, with a big emphasis on identity. And again, that's something I'll be showing in future videos. So thanks for watching.